at local Black visionaries in celebration of Black History Month. Co-founders, designers, and siblings, Jennifer and Jason Story, gave up their successful careers in the corporate world to start a creative fashion house that bridges worlds of art, culture, and history. They're here this morning to tell us all about Unknown Union. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys?
Good. We're doing really well.
I love the fact that you're siblings, brother and sister, working together is such a nice idea. But the fact that you guys were in the corporate world and said, you know what, let's do something together. How did that happen?
Yeah, you know, we both started out as corporate in-house attorneys. So
Really? Both of you?
Yes.
Wow.
My brother in New York, I was out in Arizona working as in-house counsel doing international law, mergers and acquisitions, all this crazy stuff. But we really just started thinking about how we were living each day of our life, and we wanted to search for a different kind of wealth, right? So not just in business, but how are we exploring our legacy and what we're doing with each day of our lives, and we came upon this.
So how is that going? To your sister's point, you wanted something more out of life. It wasn't just about a job and making money,
No, not
right?
really. I mean, you know, a lot of the journey kind of began with the passing of our father, and so we had to really reevaluate what are we doing with this precious gift of consciousness that we have? And what sort of impact, what sort of stories are we telling? What are we learning while we have this opportunity to be alive and interact with one another? So it's been a fantastic journey. We're super humbled and honored to be on it.
That's so cool. And they say sometimes it's tough to work with family. How do we feel about that, you two?
For us, it works really well. I know I've seen other relationships where it doesn't work, but for me, I know when he needs me to step in, he kind of gets when I need him to step in, and we play off each other's, I think, strengths and weaknesses really well. So
100%. I know when she gets hangry.
You know what? That's rule number one, right? Make sure she's not hangry. You guys brought some looks, and as we talk about it, this first brand is this first look is a collab with an artist, right? Carlos Luna. And that's what your brand does. It kind of bridges art and fashion and all these things together.
It does. What we really try and do is storytell through clothing. So this first piece, this was a collaboration we did with a world-renowned artist, Carlos Luna. He is a Cuban artist, practitioner of Yoruba, which is African spiritual practice, and then he trained in ancient pottery and ceramics in Mexico. So this piece talks about life and death. When it's layered over white, you see a skull and a very overt image of death and how it's present in our life. Or you can wear it over black, which creates this more subtle way because death is always among us. And in Carlos's worldview, death is the inverse of life. So it's just a continuation of our journey.
See, people would say, oh, it's a top with pants, and there's a whole backstory that goes into that. And this is another look from one of your collections. It's called, is it Philo or Philo?
Philos.
Okay, for philosophy?
Yeah, exactly. Philos is short for philosophy. And so Brother Flo over here, he's wearing one of the hoodies and jogger sets. On the back is actually the tree of life. And this and knowledge. And this really came out of the works of Joseph Campbell, who wrote A Hero of a Thousand Faces, and talks about how we engage with one another. We learn from the past and other mystic traditions, and it causes us to evolve into fuller versions of ourselves. And it's an incredible piece to be able to share.
Thank you so much. Another collaboration with Carlos Luna, which was the first look we showed. Here's another one of those.
So Persephone is in our top that's called the Watchers. So that actually speaks, you'll see it's a vine, but the leaves and the flowers all have eyes. And it talks about our accountability to nature. So how nature is always watching us in the same way we interact with it. And we're therefore responsible not only to the people that we connect with, but to our environment as well.
And then last but not least, there's a sneak peek that we have of your fall. Thank you so much, of your fall collection as well.
So really honored to be working with Alan Lazard. In fact, we have a future collaboration that we're going to be working on as well that tells the story of trying always to be the best at whatever you do. This particular piece that he's wearing, the symbol on the back is called a dekanga. It's the first time in early recorded human history where you see a cross, and this actually represents the cycle of life. Black for birth, red for the height of your power, white is the sunset of your life, and yellow, the ancestors' realm. And you'll notice that when you're at your most powerful moment is when you're directly connected to your forefathers and foremothers that came before.
Really fascinating. The fact that you guys, and by the way, not to mention, you just look incredibly cozy and comfy in this outfit too. But I love the backstory and how passionate you guys are about what you do. Such a pleasure to meet you both. Want to let you know, Unknown Union, you have a flagship store at the Beverly Center. For more information on that, you can go to unknownunion.com. You can also follow them on social media. Jason and Jennifer, brother and sister, doing some good things here. Really pleasure to meet you both.
Such an honor. Thank you so much for having us on.